this guy off.
Go back.
So, Miss Ethan, what do you think makes Kaikoura special?
What makes our primary school special?
Yeah.
The children in particular.
Okay.
The feel within the school. That you're coming into school with your happy and smiley faces. Our location, where we can sit on our decks here as we are at the moment and look out over the ocean and see the dolphins.
Yeah.
And then we can turn around and look at the mountains just behind us also. I enjoy how our senior children support our younger children.
Yes.
I love how our teachers support you in your learning.
Yes.
There's many opportunities for you to develop new skills within our school, from outside in the playground and also inside our classrooms as well, especially with our new modern learning block as well.
So, what is the history of Kaikoura Primary School?
The history of the school, so before it was Kaikoura Primary School, it was the district high school for all the children to attend. And right down on our front lawn beside the ocean, just out beside us, that's basically where, if you turned up to school as a 5-year-old, that would have been your classroom many, many years ago.
Okay.
In our school in the future, Miss Ethan?
So our vision for the future, so we've been very lucky over the last 6-8 months to be working with the children and the community and our board of trustees to create a brand new vision for this school, so that we've all got ownership. And our new vision is adventures in learning. So what is adventures in learning? From the mountains to the sea, and we have the mountains behind us all the way down to the ocean. And that's about you getting outside and enjoying what we have around us within our surroundings, like our new reef that's been formed recently, like our beaches around us, our mountains, our rivers. It's also about connecting with the wider area within Kaikoura. It's about bringing in our values when we go outside our classroom to explore. So to bring in our ako, our manaakitanga, our whanangatanga, and our aroha. By adventuring outside of our classroom, it means that your learning is more real. You find something that you want to grab and go with and learn about. So it's about us as teachers teaching you some skills to be able to develop into these amazing learners that can connect with our classroom, which is wider than our school.
Okay. So, Mr. Ethan, how is our environment included with our learning?
Yeah, that's a good question, Blake, because a big part of my personal philosophy is being able to get outdoors with children and explore. And I've always been a teacher like that as well, and I want to be a principal that can do the same thing. So I sit here on our deck at the moment and I look out over the ocean, I know there's rivers nearby, I know there's forests nearby, and lots of other areas within our community to explore. So I want to see in the very near future, hopefully by the start of term 2 this year, our outdoor education program up and running, with me being a big part of it and being able to take you out along with your friends to explore special parts of our local environment. When we do go out, this is going to connect nicely with our values and our mission, our new values and our new mission statement within our school. And again, when the learning's real for you, you're going to get a lot more out of it. It also means that you come back into school and you're going to have to do some other work to go along with it as well. So you using what we call key competencies, and that's some life skills that you're going to need in life. So things like being able to manage yourself, you're going to have to show me before we go out into our environment. Am I ready for it? Have I got the proper shoes? Have I got my drink bottle? Have I got lunch? Do I need some extra equipment to take? We don't have to always go outside our classrooms for that either. We can also work inside our classrooms as well, because we can connect to the world quite easily with our IT. So we can connect with people all over the world to get extra help and support with our learning.
How will the reef be included in our learning, Mr. Easton?
How will the new reef be included in our learning? I was talking earlier to the boys about creating a new outdoor education program, which will be really exciting for the senior students in the school, but also for our whole school, because the reef is walking distance from school here. It's at the moment, we've been down there a few times, but there's nothing stopping us from going all the time. By looking at what's happened there with the rise in the seabed, there is a new wave there for kids to be able to go down and use with their bodyboards and surfing, and even snorkeling for some of our seniors as well in the near future. But it's also great to get out on that reef and to explore those rock pools which are there, to see what you can find. And I know that there's a lot of life down there at the moment inside those pools, and to get the senior children down there with the junior children to explore those pools is going to be absolutely amazing. So it's really there for us whenever we need it. It's right on our back doorstep as such. We step out, we walk along the road, and we're there. I've probably got a few sea creatures in and around there that I really enjoy seeing. I love watching the top shell sea snails. They just, especially on low tide when they come out and they make their trails all over the place, and there's just hundreds of them and thousands of them out there making these little trails everywhere, and then you watch the tide come up and then they disappear, and then it happens again at low tide. So, and that's also the best time to be down there for a bit of a surf as well, so we can have a bit of a surf and a bit of an explore in the rock pools all at the same time.
Yeah.
Sure. Why can we walk on the roof since the earthquake?
Good question, Moses. Because in an earthquake, the ground slips, and what happened here in Kaikoura, the ground slipped like that. So when it slips like that, one part of it goes up. So that made the coast lift up, and the big rocks that are part of the coast came out of the water. So the whole reef kind of lifted up just because of that slipping of the land. It made it rise. So the rise in the land means the reef has come up higher than it used to be. And do you know how much it's come out here?
No.
It's risen by about nearly a metre. That's that much. So all the organisms that used to live under the water are now a metre higher, and now they're out of the water. So that's why when we walk down onto the beach, we can walk onto the reef now, because it's lifted up out of the water, and that's called uplift.
Is Kaikoura your favourite reef that you've been to?
Kaikoura is my favourite reef, yes.
Why do you think that?
Why? Because the waters of Kaikoura are very productive, so that means there's lots of animals in the water, lots of seaweed in the water, and the diversity, so the different types of animals on the reef, is really high. Since the earthquake, that has changed a little bit, so that some of the organisms were removed, but they're all starting to come back, and it's really exciting to see how they're going to come back over time. So I'm excited about how it's changed, because the shore is very different now than it used to be everywhere, but it's a really nice there's a nice new lower area on the tide, which is bouldery and full of lots of structure, so I think a lot of organisms will come back into that, so I'm excited to see the changes.
Do you have a favorite animal?
My favourite animal has to be Scutus brevicus, which is the black sea slug. Have you seen that one?
Yeah.
And it's got the little white shell.
Since the water is gone low, how are the animals living?
Good question. Some of the animals that are out of the water are living. A lot of them did die off. So a lot of the little cone snails, the limpets, a lot of them did die off, but a lot of them survived. And how are they still living? So some of the organisms, like the little snails, the Australorhina, they could last for a long time out of water until they move. So the ones that can move, they've taken a little while to adjust, but they've kind of moved down so that they're now still in the water. The area that they've got to live in is much narrower, it's much smaller, so they're probably competing with each other a lot just for space, you know, like trying to get in, everyone's trying to get in. So they're probably a little bit stressed and trying to find their place, but they can move. The ones that can't move, they are doing what they can. Some of them will have died off, but those that aren't will keep themselves nicely shut when there's no water over them. Now they'll have to adjust, because they might have been able to do that for 6 hours or 3 hours, and now they might have to do it for another hour. So they may be able to adjust to that, and hopefully they can adjust to that. Otherwise, they'll reproduce really quickly, make new babies, and they will land lower down on the shore. So the next generation will be in a different place. But the adults, they'll have to do what they can to survive out of the water a little bit longer, and then the babies will come back deeper down. And so the species will still continue nicely.